This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
I'm older this week than I was last week.
It was your birthday passed.
Yeah. Not feeling good about it.
Why not? Because you're older?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Stinks.
bullshit. Yeah.
Remember when we used to look forward to birthdays?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Birthdays would come and they would symbolize I get to do new stuff. I'm old enough to get a learner's permit.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to buy Stag magazines. I'm old enough to buy beer now.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to enlist in the military.
That's what I was itching to do. Let's join the Navy, boys.
Right.
But and now
they wouldn't want you.
No, which is kind of cool. Like, I was
yeah,
sure,
it's a relief.
a draft, fine, do whatever you want. You don't want me.
Right. Yeah, like things are going to have to get
draft my son.
Things are going to have to get pretty bad before you turn to old Timmy to lay down.
And if things get that bad, I'll probably be dead.
Right.
From whatever
exactly.
spurred that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw, I was at the post office the other day and they had to sign up for like a reminder that you have to enlist
selective service.
Selective service.
So what happens? So the thing is, when you turn 18 and you're a male in the United States, you have to register and say, sure, I'm cool. I'll go to war if you need me to.
Yeah, you basically have to let them. I mean, you're not saying that because they don't need you to be okay with it.
But like, there's a consequence for not doing that, right?
I imagine what it is that, look, it's the government. They don't have the CIA's got one big nice database on everyone,
right?
But not everybody's got access to all that stuff. So I assume it's just kind of like, look, it would be better. What's the easiest way to tell who in the country we should draft? Well, we'll just make it illegal for them not to send us a postcard to let us know.
Okay, so it's just a database of registered U.S. citizens and other U.S. residents potentially subject to military conscription.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's just, if
it's like
a sudden
we
draft,
need a laugh. We need a laugh. We need a list for the draft.
Right.
A laugh.
Right. And it's just, this is the easiest way to go about it. I mean, in fairness, if this didn't exist, can you imagine, Tim, when we were like 24 and this didn't exist, if all of a sudden we got drafted, we would have been like, wait, what the heck? I didn't know this was a possibility. But when with selective service, oh, okay. It's very, we haven't had a draft in this country since Vietnam, but it's a possibility. You know what I was thinking about the other day? That's you want to feel even older?
Hey, want to feel old?
Yeah. So I realized the other day I was born as many years after the end of the Vietnam War as Barron Trump was from 9/11.
That is quite a
right?
No, that is a brain buster of a way to feel old.
Well, because I really
9/11 is Barron Trump's Vietnam.
In a lot of ways,
right.
Yeah.
Is Barron Trump's Tom Reynolds Vietnam?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Because I was just thinking about, looked up the other day that.
So you feel like, the Vietnam War happened so far before I was born.
Yeah, I realized I forget why I had to look it up, but I was curious when it ended exactly. What?
How did you get to the Barron Trump of it all, though?
Well, I'll get to that.
Okay.
So I got to.
I understand the Vietnam part of it,
right? Well, I got to. We were playing Call of Duty together, as we often do at night. No, I had to look up Vietnam when the Vietnam War happened for some reason. And realized that it was 6 years before I was born. And I was like, well, to your point, I was like, that's insane because I don't know shit about Vietnam. Like, to me, that I know less about that probably than like World War II.
Haven't you ever seen Forrest Gump?
I've seen Forrest Gump, Tim.
That's pretty much all you need to know about it.
I guess I know a lot about Vietnam then. No, but you know what I mean? That it's just
Fortunate Son and whatnot.
That I live my entire life never feeling like I was directly dealing with the result of and fallout from Vietnam. Whereas, there was a lot of fallout and changes in this country from 9/11. So the way I got to Barron Trump was I was trying to figure out, who's born 6 years after 9/11 that's famous? I looked it up and it gave me a list of like 100 TikTok, not even TikTok stars, like things you haven't heard of stars. And then also Barron Trump. And I was like, okay, well, there's I think that's probably the most.
So you just Googled 17-year-olds?
No. I think I Googled like famous celebrities born in 2007.
Okay.
So in a way, yes, I Googled famous 17 or 18-year-olds. But yeah, I think he's probably the most famous 18-year-old out there right now, right?
Barron Trump?
Yeah.
I guess he might be the tallest 18-year-old out there.
He's certainly the tallest. My God. If he's not, then we're all in trouble.
Oh, my God. There's a taller boy than Barron Trump? Oh, no. This can't be happening.
I was just starting to breathe a sigh of relief that maybe that kid had stopped growing. So, yeah. I just wonder if he thinks about like 9/11 and like the changes in Homeland Security and stuff.
Who knows what that thinks about.
He's red pilled to the hilt.
No, either that or just like who knows what his relationship with anything is. Yeah. Right?
He's too deep in it to not be.
Yeah. I'm not even saying like abhorrent views. Like,
right.
I just don't know. Because like he's probably never met his dad, right?
Once or twice in passing. But yeah, I think I think you spend that much time at Mar-a-Lago.
It's not like he has like close relationship with his half siblings.
Yeah, I could see those two.
You think Don Jr.'s like, hey, let's go have a catch, Barron?
I could see those two idiots like probably constantly like trying to buy him beer and like take him to strip clubs and stuff. Like I could see, if anything, him being the one who's like, actually, guys, I have a lot of work to do this with. No, come on, bro, come on. I could definitely see that being the case.
Boys.
Boys will be boys. That's what they say.
The coolest boys will be the coolest boys.
They sure will.
Forever.
How are you doing this week, Tim?
I'm older, and I hate it.
You're older. Well, have you thought about Vietnam lately?
No, I was thinking about this earlier, though.
Okay.
I feel like I just recently saw the Mad Max Fury Road film.
Uh-huh.
And now the sequel came out.
Yeah.
And there are box office woes, Tom. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
But that other movie came out 9 years ago.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel like 9 years ago.
No.
And if the next 9 years go as fast as that, I'm going to be in my 50s before I know it.
Yeah.
This stinks.
Yeah.
This really stinks.
I know. I'm still just holding out hope that it was the pandemic that screwed up.
Yeah.
Our sense of time and like.
Well, how do we get it back?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm just saying, like, eventually, now we're getting to the point where we can say things were like a year ago or 2 years ago and things were pretty normal then.
Right.
It's just really that, I mean, I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast, but I brought it up to people in real life, the idea that 2019 was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what it is. It's like, no, there's 3 years there that don't feel real. Because of everything that was going on. But
3, though? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do about any of this, Tom.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're in a delicate place.
I really, really am. Yeah. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah. So we'll have to be gentle with you tonight, Tim.
Thank you.
Tim's one of the elders of our community. We need to respect him. and not startle him too much. He might die on us.
Just rock me gently on the open seas.
Which brings us beautifully to boating.
Boating. It's the summertime, baby. Let's get on a boat. Hey, join the Navy if you're of age.
Yeah, you can join the Navy if you're of age. Or if you're not of age, but you have like a dad who's high up in the government, you can become a naval officer.
Yeah. No, you want to go in as an officer, right?
Yeah. But there's
all these guys during WW2 that were like, I was 14, but I
just
desperately wanted to go to die in Europe.
Yeah, no, that was my mom's dad lied about his age to fight early.
Wow.
And
these guys were riled up.
Yeah. Well, and he went to the same high school we did. And I'm sure you remember that there was like a plaque in our high school dedicated to the students that died during World War II. And I don't know if you thought maybe the school had been bombed in New York one time, just an errant bomb, but no, it was soldiers. Because then he told me when he came back, they had classes in the cafeteria for like, basically like GED for returning soldiers of like, yeah, you missed, a year's worth of stuff, but it's not really a year's worth of stuff. We could teach it to you in a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, your brains probably can't process anything right now through all the trauma.
But also, it's fine. There's a man outside who will hand you a job and the deed to a house as soon as you're done here. How do we get on to
things were good and things were bad? Joining the Navy, Tom.
Oh, joining the Navy. Yeah. No, I was going to say
we should talk to the U.S. military about stealth recruitment efforts through our podcast.
Oh yeah, get some of that black budget money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we can put in
undeclared SpawnCon.
Yeah,
for the military,
and we'll put like subliminal messages, whatever it takes,
whatever you need us to do to get America's young folks to join the military,
specifically
participate
in
our military adventurism around the world.
What did that make me think of?
Joining.
I was going to say, do you know about I forget what the title's called, and not to make this start sounding like we've switched into a right-wing podcast, but I know it was the title that I think either Hunter or Beau Biden had.
What are you talking about here?
Where there's like normally you have to be, a young person to join the military, but there's like a special program for naval officers where it's like, if you're 40 plus and your dad's the vice president, you can do this like basically summer camp.
Right.
And then you leave as like a naval officer.
Well, how hard could it be?
I
don't think that's...
Oh, to get in or to do it?
I don't know. Like, I don't think in times of peace.
Right.
Isn't it just being like, get down and give me 20?
To actually, no, I mean, I think the actual like boot camp is probably nothing.
No. To say that.
What do you
mean?
Be
the guy, to be the officer.
Be a drill sergeant?
Yeah.
Wait,
how do you get to be a drill sergeant?
Do you think all officers in the military are drill sergeants?
Mostly, or at least they have that demeanor, I would assume.
I don't even know if drill sergeants are... Yeah, I guess they're sergeants, so they're officers, but...
you know what? This is why I can never go on Jeopardy. They're like, oh, it's one rank above a corporal. And it's like, oh, I don't know what that is. Captain? Is captain one of them?
I think captain's below corporal.
Yeah, and I have no idea.
I don't know. I'm sure...
And then there's like,
somebody will email us with a long explanation of how all this stuff works.
Nothing I love more than hierarchy.
In
like
the military.
Learning about hierarchy of things that I'm like morally opposed to.
But yeah, there's this. I think to get into this program is incredibly difficult. And it's like kind of one of those things where it makes me wonder, is this the only one that's like this, or does every branch have, hey, you got like some, are you very powerful? But
Tom, I'll tell you, every branch of sons of powerful people in the government can do whatever they want in the government in any capacity.
Especially if they're very tall.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Boating, Tom.
Boating.
Are you a boatsman, a boater?
I wouldn't call myself a boatsman,
No,
Tim.
You are unequivocally not in any way. I know you very well.
Yeah. I've been on boats. I can tell you that much.
Same. Tom, I participated in a sailboat race one time.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I knew. Was this like a long time ago?
It was.
I figured it wasn't just you. One time you entered a sailboat contest by yourself. If you're sitting here to talk about it today, I know it wasn't just you.
Yeah, no, a girlfriend of mine at the time was like a sailing family.
Yeah.
They were like, come be in the sailboat race.
Your girlfriend was the family? She was part of a sailing family.
Yeah.
You made it sound like you were dating a family.
I think I said she had a sailboat family.
All right, so her relatives were sailboats.
Yeah. And yeah, it was me and her and her dad, and I was really bad at sailing.
Yeah. Did you have to, was he like yelling like, trim the main?
He was, and I was just like, I don't know what your daughter told you. It was my first time on a sailboat.
I had
sailboats. That's something you don't want to mess with.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever really been on a sailboat, come to think of it.
Yeah.
If I have, it was a very long time ago.
Yeah. In the 1700s, when that's all there was.
Right, exactly. No, I was going to say that I also have a bad boat story with an ex-girlfriend that you know about.
Oh, yeah.
Where I was similarly, like a lot of nautical knowledge was assumed of me.
Right.
During a kind of emergency situation where I was put in charge of driving the boat.
Right. You were I think they thought you'd rise to the occasion.
And in fairness, I didn't fuck anything up. Like, no, the boat didn't crash. It almost.
Hey, are you guys all cast away right now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, it was fine. Ultimately, it was fine, but it definitely, especially I was, it was like 4:00 in the morning and I was woken from a slumber to do this. So
I wouldn't have gone on that trip. You guys
any nautical knowledge that I did have, which was none, was inaccessible to me in the moments as I was waking up. And in fact, I probably would have put up like a bigger argument about it if I wasn't or like
you had
half
your wits
asleep.
About you. Yeah.
Of like, oh, okay, well, okay, you sure? All right. And then once I woke up a little bit and realized like what I was doing, I was like, why am I? It was a yacht. It was like a 70-foot yacht coming out of a harbor, Miami harbor, where there's a lot of traffic.
Why didn't you just go back? Why didn't you just go back?
That wasn't up to me to just go back. And even if it was, I don't turn the boat around. I was trying to keep everything going straight.
Right.
That was my primary concern.
What did you sit at a big wheel?
Yeah, I sat at a huge wheel.
So what did you just do? Like steer it?
Yeah,
that
just
seems easy enough.
It was 4:00 in the morning though, so there was no light whatsoever.
Okay.
And there were a lot of even bigger ships in the harbor that I couldn't really see. When I looked out, all I could see were a lot of blinking lights that I knew were attached to boats.
Right.
But I didn't know where those boats
the shape
were.
Of the boat. Yeah, I understand. And there were no instruments to help you?
There are tons, but I don't know how to read those instruments.
What was the rest of the family doing at this point?
They were asleep.
What?
Yeah. I believe I was given a tip about like blue light is on like the front of a boat and a red light's on the back. Right. So I at least had that of like, okay, so if I see those, I know those boats, those two lights are a boat. But unless it were directly perpendicular to me, I wouldn't know how big that boat was. You know, it could have been on an angle.
Right.
And I could have been like, oh, it's a little tiny boat. No, it's just it's a big boat coming straight at me.
Right.
So that was my similar like
it Yeah, the stakes weren't that high. I think we did badly in the race, but
right. Well, you were in a race, so I mean, there are stakes there.
Yeah,
I mean, the stakes here, to be fair, I don't think there's anything I could have done horribly bad. Like, I don't think anything was close enough to us that I could have, unless I started just doing crazy shit, like, pressing all the buttons, pulling all the levers, turning the wheel like crazy. I think it was.
Well, you should have been doing shit, Tom. Was there any audience there for you to do that?
No, and that's why. Yeah. I think just having me there was like nominally better than just letting the boat go straight with nobody watching where the boat was going. Okay. So that was like my biggest. But Tim, you know what? The more I think about it, I've got a lot of boating experience.
I mean, you piloted at 4 a.m. Piloting, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Captaining a ship.
Yeah. Well, don't you dare call yourself the captain.
I mean, if you're at I did every time say captain has the wheel every time I took the wheel, but and eventually I was no longer
eventually
asked.
My girlfriend's dad beat the shit out of me.
It made me walk the plank. But I was gonna say, like, I've been on big boats, like cruise ships and stuff.
Yeah,
in the past.
But I don't think that falls under boating. That's cruising.
We're talking about summer boating. So I do. I mean, we
come from a boat town.
Yeah, we both come from a beach town on Long Island.
Beach town is a stretch.
Well, part of the town is beach.
Yeah, but it's far away from where we lived.
Not that far.
You had to drive there.
Yeah. Or, I mean, you could walk. Take you a while.
Take you a real long time. I rode a bike there.
Well, the thing was,
as part of a bike race.
Well, yeah, you could ride a bike there. You had to go over a bridge to get to the barrier beach.
Money for wounded veterans, Tom.
Wow.
Who's the real hero out of the two of us? Who drove a boat one time, or me, who rode my bike all the way to the beach to raise money for wounded veterans.
So that's why when I'm like, no, I mean, we live in a beach town. You're like, no, I mean, I would say if you were riding a bike, it would take a while to get there. It's the same town. But yeah, there's a barrier beach, so you have to go over the bridge to get to the actual beach. But to your point, it's a boat town. You know, there's a bay in between.
You're either a boat family or you're not a boat family in our town.
I mean, you could say that about most families, I think.
I mean, not in like Missouri.
Yeah, you could. Because you could say...
just say nobody here is a boat family.
Yeah. Well, Tim, I have some shocking statistics for you, by the way. Because you might not...
What's it going to be about? Barron Trump or the Biden children?
He is growing at 3/4 of an inch per 6 weeks still.
It'd be cool to still be growing. Right?
No.
Isn't that exciting? Ooh, how
big am I going to get?
Yeah.
Oh, so not everybody's still growing, just yours?
No, it'd be nice to be like 16 again.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Tom, it'd be nice to be young. Look, I'm on a thing. I'm got a fragile psyche tonight, remember?
Right. You're like, it'd be nice to be smaller again and then grow.
Yeah. No, but like just knowing like you got a lot of life left to live, you know what I mean? Like you're all potential at that point, instead of just like a disappointment to everybody.
And you're at the point now where you're in the middle of settling your affairs.
Yeah.
Getting everything in order.
I mean, yeah, in case.
Well, don't get real about it. I know you have to have a will because you have a kid and everything, but I'm not talking. You're not, you haven't.
Oh, by the way, you get custody of my kid.
No.
I did this 2.5 years ago. I named you as legal guardian.
All right. Well, I hope he knows how to drive a boat.
Probably better than you.
Probably. I mean, he probably watches a lot more boat content than I
does.
do.
My gosh, he watches so much Moana. She learns how to pilot a boat. The Rock teaches her.
Wow. Like a canoe, probably. or like a raft.
Yeah,
like a sail raft.
You know what? I have a list of boats here. I'll find out which one that is.
Moana boat.
No, I got a list of all these boats.
Tim, which state do you think has the most boaters per capita?
Per capita.
Yeah, not the most boats. Although I have that answer for you as well too.
So this is going to be a surprising answer. The answer will surprise me.
The answer will surprise.
So it's not like Florida.
No, Florida has the most boats though.
Right.
But not the most.
Yeah, that's
per
what I meant to
capita.
answer earlier. Most boats.
No. Yes,
ding,
but
ding,
not
ding.
not per capita.
Per capita, I'm going to say New Jersey.
No. Actually, it's funny in this statistics.
Rhode Island?
No. These statistics I found, which I forgot to write down.
Connecticut.
No. The website. But they had New Jersey as like one of the bottom ones, but with an asterisk, which is that New Jersey does not require you to register, I think, a boat under 12 feet. So because of that, they have a very low per capita because it sounds like everywhere else. I think that maybe there was like another, it was that and this, if it was powered or whatever.
I got it. Give me 2 guesses.
Okay.
Delaware.
No.
Maryland.
No.
Okay.
Tim, I'll give you a clue. This great state was once governed by Jesse the Mind Ventura.
We're talking about a crushed can of soda, Minnesota?
Minnesota, Tim. 1 in 7 people has a boat.
That's not true.
Because of all the lakes. You're forgetting about the lakes.
I remember the lakes, Tom.
Yeah.
It's,
1 in 7.
The Land O' Lakes, right? Is that Minnesota?
I think you're just thinking of butter.
Yeah, always.
But that's why there's a lot of people, not a lot of people, but
1 in 7
boats.
people.
1 in 7 people
owns a boat.
Well,
co-owns a boat.
There is a boat for 1 out of 7 people.
Well, no. Now we're talking about number of boats.
Yeah,
not boaters
that's what I'm
per
talking
capita.
I'm talking about boats per capita.
You said boaters per
capita.
capita.
No, I said boats.
Okay. Yeah, I guess there probably are a lot of boats there.
Yeah.
Due to all the lakes, Tom.
Yeah, due to all the lakes. Tim, do you want to guess which state has the fewest boats per capita?
North Dakota. Wyoming.
Tim, you're making the same mistake here. And once again, you're going to be floored. The answer,
New York.
Hawaii.
Really?
And you would think they're a dang island.
Right.
They got to be lousy with boats. No.
I went on a boat in Hawaii.
Oh, all right. Then forget it.
You're
right, Tim. There are a lot of boats in Hawaii.
Well, I haven't been on a boat in a lot of other states.
How big of a boat was it, and how many people were on it?
Well, there were a lot of people on it. It's a big boat.
Yeah. Well, according to statistics, there's only one boat for about every 120 people in Hawaii.
There were probably about 120 people on the boat.
But
I also went in a helicopter, Tom. I'm never going to go in a helicopter again.
Yeah.
They can get the president of Iran. They can get me.
Right. It's true. That was the only thing keeping you safe.
Yeah. Really puts it into perspective.
Do you want to know? So, like I said, Hawaii, 1 boat for every 120 people. Do you want to know what New York is?
Hawaii's 1 every 120.
Minnesota is 1 in 7
state, but I feel like there are
a lot of lakes.
On the
That's why it's called the land of lakes.
Right, like the butter. I'm gonna say 1 boat for every 73 people.
Not too far off, 50 people.
Okay,
more boats than you would think. Tim.
Yeah, more boats than I would think.
But I think
Does that
really
include the Staten Island ferry.
I think it does include this.
Nice.
Probably all the. Well, how many ferries are there at any given time?
Does that include the Circle Line?
Yeah, it includes all the boats that are registered.
Okay. Does it include that hilarious Pete Davidson and Colin Jost the boat that they bought?
It might not, Tim. If that's in dry dock,
yeah.
I don't know.
What is dry dock? Is just not in the water?
Yeah, it's just you take it out of the water, and that's called a dry dock.
They just sold that ferry that had the tragedy. I was going to say a couple of years ago, but I think it was like 20 years ago now.
What ferry was it that had what tragedy?
There's a Staten Island ferry. Do you remember the guy and like people died? Like
it like plowed right into the pier.
And like the captain went to jail and stuff.
Right, yeah.
But like
because he was under the influence, I believe, right?
Yeah. And then they're like, okay, we took all the stuff out of it that makes it run. Mm-hmm. Who wants to buy it? They're auctioning it off. And then like whoever runs that, like the Port Authority was like, Colin Jost, Pete Davidson, don't you want to buy this? And a lot of people were like, that's the boat that a lot of people died on. You can't do that. But it's also like, I don't know. Then like, I don't know. Put it out to sea if you're not going to.
So wait, you were arguing yourself? You can't sell that to those funny boys. A lot of people died on that boat. No. Just let it free.
No, they were like, you can't make a joke about this boat. And then then you shouldn't be able to sell it at all. Like, they weren't like, like making light of the tragedy.
Right. Well, I guess that
happened to be the same boat.
I mean, I guess the thing is, like, most times when people die in a vehicular accident, the vehicle's totaled.
Right.
So it's like you can't be like, well, 50 people died in this plane crash, but we refurbished it and we're selling it again.
No, this boat lived to get into another accident a couple of years later, not as catastrophically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, say what you will about the safety, but it sounds like a well-built boat.
Tom, let's take a step back real quick.
Well, be careful.
The big question is...
You don't want to take a step back. Whoa!
That's a good tip for a boat.
Uh-huh.
But we haven't established
this. Take a step back.
Do you think, in your opinion, should boats be allowed?
Yes.
Okay.
I personally would not like to own a boat.
Bad investment. You know what they say? Just rent one.
Is that what they say?
Mm-hmm. With
That's what they used to say at Blockbuster about the Virtual Boy.
They said that about the videos too, Tom.
But then guess what? I was able to buy a Virtual Boy for $20 when they were getting rid of them.
Nobody wanted to rent it or use it in any way.
It was basically brand new in the case. Notoriously horrible investment because boats require constant upkeep.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And for a lot of people, they're not using the boat all that often.
Yeah.
Look, if you're a fisherman, by all means, go buy a boat.
Right.
It's probably integral to your livelihood.
Yeah. If you're a fisherman who's been struggling on the shore and thinking there has to be a better way to get out there on the water where the fish are. Yeah, sure, why not? But
I will say, I feel like there's a conspiracy when you I don't use Google. I don't use Bing. I use DuckDuckGo. So this might be a weird...
DuckDuckGo uses Bing.
But without all the AI shit. They strip all the AI shit out of it, too.
Well, yeah, they don't.
Which is great.
I think Microsoft would have to probably like charge them money if
it's a plus for me that it's not like instead of giving you a link to a website, we're gonna like try to summarize that website in a real ham-fisted way.
I'm just saying it's like Bing's engine, so it's not even technically Bing.
Gentlemen, start your Bing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a white label situation. I think.
All right, well, I'm using white label Bing over here. Right. I Google. Is buying a boat a good investment?
Yeah.
All the top answers come from like boatus.com and like boating.com and
so
boating
they're in
mag,
the bag.
Right? And so it's like, oh, what if I say, is buying a boat a bad investment?
Right.
The same thing, all those same sites, and the titles of the article are like, they say it's a bad investment, but it's not.
Right. So what's your point?
I just think
the people trying to sell you boats are telling you, no, buy a boat.
Well, no, yeah, exactly. And I think I'm looking to a neutral party, Bing.com,
right,
to point me in a direction,
and
it's just funneling me over to these boat advocates.
Right. Well, I think part of the problem, Tim, is you trust Bing to make too many decisions for you.
Yeah,
it's been a problem for the last 20 years. You have everybody knows Tim's got a tough decision. What's he gonna say?
Bing it,
let's
baby.
Bing it. He's like
bing, 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 bing.
Like how Two-Face always flips a coin to make.
I was gonna say Anton Chigurh.
Yeah. He also flipped coins in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Tim's like that, but with Bing. Tim will put that, what was that, like an air compressor up to somebody's head?
Yeah, the cattle thing.
Let's see what Bing has to say.
Man, that was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
I'll watch that movie when I get home tonight.
I haven't seen that movie in a while. I'd like to watch that movie.
Theater. I was going to say, I saw that in the theater recently. I think I saw it in the theater in 2015. 9 years ago.
Still like a re-release.
Yeah. 35 millimeter. The Museum of the Moving Image in the Sumner Redstone Theater, Tom.
Ooh, your favorite Hollywood executive.
Yeah. Ooh, Tom. Do you know about the Redstones? No.
All right. You're saying no, but he was one of those guys who looked like he was dead.
And we had to look it up.
Yeah,
he looked like he was dead since 2006.
Yeah.
He's one of these guys like, and now our CEO, Sumner Redstone, is here. He's like,
please do not pay attention to how red his eyelids are.
Please do not pay attention to how waxy and unmoving his complexion is. Tom,
mm-hmm.
What is the name of that book?
What?
About
what
the
book?
Redstones.
Oh, I don't know.
I started reading it. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to bother me.
Apparently, it's not that good if you can't even remember what it was called.
You know what the
thing
is?
Did you skip the first page?
No, it's so good that it's Minecraft.
No. Oh yeah, Redstone is a thing in Minecraft. That's like one of the materials.
Unscripted.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's unscripted about it?
It's just like a novelization of an episode of Survivor.
I mean, that sounds like it's scripted.
What do you mean?
Sounds like they're writing it down. That sounds like a script to me.
So anything you write down is scripted.
It's a transcript.
In
that way. But yeah, buying a boat, notoriously a bad investment because things always go wrong with boats.
Right.
And they need constant maintenance, mostly because they're in the enemy to us all, salt water all the time. And that is just like constantly corroding. You got
bad
barnacles.
For boats, great for thirst. For thirst quenching.
Tim, I looked up, what was it, last week we were talking about?
How we should all be drinking seawater.
Yeah. And I was doing some lookups of like, all right, what's the optimal amount of salt? You know, because you do want some salt for hydration purposes. Turns out it's a lot less than
is in seawater.
Than is in seawater.
We can water it down. Or put some, I don't know.
Lake water in?
Oh, now you're thinking.
Yeah. Ooh, you know what I should have looked up? Brackish water.
What's brackish water?
Brackish water is where I just learned this. You know, it's one of those, you've always heard
Yeah.
And it's like, you want to like stay away from that, I think.
That's about right.
That is where freshwater and seawater mingle, where they meet. So like, you know, a river going into the sea.
Where the river meets the sea.
That's where you'll find some brackish water.
Yeah.
But that might be good to bottle up.
Yeah,
I'm still looking.
Got enough electrolytes.
I'm just looking for
it.
something. Tim, this is my dream. We find a place out in nature where we can bottle things up, where everybody leaves us alone, and then we can sell those things.
Like weird health food stores.
Yeah, and then eventually, like 7-Eleven and gas stations and McDonald's everywhere.
Yeah, if you could go, if you had a time machine, what would you do if you could do one thing? Go to one time.
Yeah.
And do whatever you wanted. What would you do?
Would I come back?
No.
Oh, I would just...
You just live your life from then on.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Would I have to do it? I have to do it?
Yeah.
Could I just go back to yesterday?
You could if you were boring.
What would you do then?
I'd go back to the mid-90s and start Monster energy drinks.
You might as well start like Red Bull and everybody else too.
Yeah. I mean, that might be a conflict of interest.
Just have it, it's a Monster brand. Or Timco Energy. And
well, no, Monster has cool branding. I want to be...
Yeah, I'm saying you have sub-brands.
It's all right there for me, Tom. It's plug and play.
Yeah.
I know what works. I know what the people
you can do a bunch of these things. It's like how Yum Foods has a bunch of brands. You could just copy all the energy drink brands.
That's true. But I'm brand loyal to Monster, Tom.
Don't yuck my Yum Foods.
I also don't want to get too greedy. There's enough to go around.
Yeah, but what if you recreate Monster energy drinks, but like you miss some element of it?
I won't.
This
guy never misses.
There was some like scumbag, like local high school influencer that had to get on board, and you didn't know that.
Nah, I think the product is strong enough. It speaks for itself.
Tim, if you come back in time to start Monster energy drinks now, you're just trying to talk it up. No, the product speaks for itself. Tim, I looked up some things that are bad luck to have on boats.
All right.
Number 1, bananas.
Bananas are bad luck. I'm sure there's bananas on 50% of the boats.
Bananas are bad luck, and this is from hubbardsmarina.com.
Gotta trust them. Gotta trust that source.
There are...
No arguing with Hubbard's Marina.
4 reasons bananas are bad luck. First reason.
I know one of them.
That's not even one of them.
What? That is
slipping on a banana.
Yeah, no. Right into the drink.
No. Number 1, spiders.
Spiders.
Not a lot of bananas, but some bananas have spiders inside
bananas
them.
My whole life. Never encountered a
banana spider. I'm not talking about bringing a single banana out on a day trip. I'm talking about like traversing the 7 seas.
Okay.
Spiders.
With like hundreds of bananas.
Yeah. Like, all right.
We shouldn't have hundreds of anything.
We're going to be at sea for months. We better bring hundreds of bananas.
The bananas are going to get brown in 3 days anyway.
Well, Tim, that's the other problem. Problem number 2. Bananas make other fruit ripen because they release ethene gas. Cause other fruits to ripen faster by breaking down the cell walls and convert the starches into sugars, which removes the natural acids. Now, you might be thinking, oh, boy, that's bad. Not only do the bananas go bad, they make everything else go bad. It can't get any worse than that. It can. A worse thing can happen. That can lead to fires because of all that gas.
Right.
The buildup of gas.
That seems unlikely, but okay.
And then
this is just like don't have a lot, like a stupid amount of bananas on your boat. Okay.
And then the 4th one is bananas float. Did you know that?
I'm gonna try it out in the bathtub when I get home.
A lot of sometimes they would like be like, nobody's seen Roger in a while. We should go check on his boat. And they'd go and the boat would be sunk, but there would be a bunch of bananas floating.
Right.
And they'd be like, oh, the fucking bananas. For some reason, they assumed the bananas had something to do with it.
No, the bananas are just showing
They're helping
them.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
They're marking, X marks the spot.
Yeah, bananas are getting a bad rap here. And like, honestly, as we established, there's a great reason not to have bananas on board.
Because you could slip on them.
You could slip on them, fall right into the water.
Did you know that there used to be a presidential yacht?
Is this a new tip?
We mean a new
Wait, this is a bad luck thing?
No, this has something to do with luck. I'm not about to tell you a story about like...
No, wait, you just said you had a list of things that were bad luck to be on boats.
I realized there was just bananas and I had a bunch of reasons why they were bad.
Okay.
Everything else,
you tried to gaslight me. You were like, what? Why would I be talking about bad luck now?
Tim, there used to be a presidential yacht.
Did you have somebody else prepare this for you?
No, it's just I saw a long list and I thought it was a bunch of things.
Even in you,
I did this earlier today, so
how is that a defense?
I don't know. I
didn't. Frying pan?
I have a list under here of like different water sports. I kind of just got confused. There used to be a presidential yacht, the USS Sequoia. But Jimmy Carter sold it as a cost-cutting example.
Carter, man.
I mean, that is in 1972.
I love Jimmy Carter. Still kicking.
I love Jimmy Carter too, but I do see that the kind of thing of like, oh, look, hey, we're all doing our part. I'm cutting expenses by selling the presidential yacht. It's like, is that really going to make a dent, Jimmy Carter? Just don't use it.
Famously bad investment. Get it off the books.
That's true.
That's the easy one. Tom, if you own a boat and your household finances are not in order, what's the first thing you do? Offload that goddamn boat.
Yeah. Or start using it to fish.
Yeah, I mean,
catch some fish.
Catch fish. You know what they say? This is a life hack I saw on Reddit. Couple wanted to buy a boat.
Yeah.
They're like, we're afraid it's a bad investment. We tried to Bing it, and all we got were these boating websites telling us to buy a boat. So instead we said this. We're going to tally up the price of the boat that we want.
Yeah.
The insurance, the maintenance.
Hey, don't forget gas.
And we're going to put that on a Post-it note. And for the next year, whenever we want to go out on a boat, we're going to rent a boat.
Yeah.
And if that ever exceeds that number on the Post-it note, we'll keep track of all the rental costs, then we'll buy a boat. They're like, it's been 5 years. We haven't come close to that number.
And we rent a boat every day.
Yeah, they live on a boat, Tom. That's the twist.
Wow. All right.
Would you live on a boat? I don't want to live on a boat.
I don't. I mean,
I bet. Oh, what? I know what your deal is. I bet you get seasick.
No, I actually don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't get seasick.
I don't like when people are like, ooh, I get seasick.
So you don't like. Let's pull this apart. You don't like people that get seasick, or you think everybody's faking it?
I don't think everybody's faking it. It's just like, okay, just don't. Or like, then don't go on a boat.
I think they usually don't. I think you're probably
I need these special bracelets because I get seasick.
You're quoting somebody who's getting on a boat who doesn't really want to.
Yeah, so don't get on the boat. You're ruining my day off.
Maybe it's a special event or something.
Sometimes you gotta skip a special event.
I don't get seasick except when I do get seasick, and then like it's bad. I'm trying to remember actually. The last time I got seasick was on a glass bottom boat, where you could look at the fish and everything. And it was just like rough seas, and I don't know, something about looking at the ocean floor.
Looking at it.
That's like eventually what I did. Here's my problem with getting seasick: that I don't go like, "Ooh, I don't feel so good." I go like, "I'm feeling great. Everything's great. I don't get seasick. Oh my god!"
Right.
And like, I don't puke. I don't think I've ever puked from seasickness, but it's just
complain.
Yeah, well, it's just like a horrific headache or whatever, and I have to kind of like recalibrate, and then I'm all right.
Horrific.
Yeah.
He says.
Let me give you another boating tip. I mean, that wasn't really a boating tip.
What are we jumping back to? That there was a presidential yacht? Is that a tip?
I didn't really have anything else to say about it except Carter sold it.
Okay. A great man, Jimmy Carter.
I'm trying to think of how to get into this. My main thing was going to be to say, look, if you're on a boat, wear a life vest. A lot of people don't wear life vests on boats. And two things. I consider myself a pretty strong swimmer.
Mm-hmm. You were a lifeguard.
I was a lifeguard
25 years ago,
but longer. No, I guess about. That was the end of my career. But yeah, the water's crazy, man, and you never know when water is going to do something crazy. But also, like, my biggest fear around like boats and everything, I guess more if I'm like alone, is it doesn't matter how good of a swimmer you are if you get knocked out. Or if you've been drinking, which is, you know, a big boating activity. That
stinks.
What?
That like especially like on Long Island.
Yeah.
If you're going out for a boat ride, it's like, look at all these boats on a nice day. 80% of them are piloted by people who are blackout drunk.
Yeah, not just like they've had a few. Yeah. Like, no, they're like...
they've been sitting in the sun all day.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're extra dehydrated. Their brain is not working well.
Yeah.
And I think it's that idea of like, well, look, it's like a boat. I'm out on the ocean. I can see everything. It's fine. So I can drink. A, if something like goes wrong, you don't want to be drunk. But B, it's like, okay, well, nobody's around you now, but people will be around you.
Right.
And also other people are driving poorly. And that's why, like, yeah, that whole aspect of boating kind of drives me crazy. I don't like it.
You ever go on like a real fast speedboat?
Yeah, I've been on some pretty fast.
Like, yeah. Do you find that enjoyable?
No, not really. Yeah. It's like fun for a few minutes.
Yeah.
But then it's
like after like 45 seconds of it, I'm like, all right, I got it.
Yeah, like, oh, that was cool. Yeah. Just like if somebody's got like a real fast car and they're like, hey, you want to see what this baby can do? And they like floor it on a straightaway and they're like, whoa, cool.
Has that happened to you?
Yeah, I hang out with some tough guys.
That sounds really cool. Was it like a Lamborghini?
Oh, all kinds of exotic sports cars. No, but it's like once you do it, you know, like once or twice, you're like, neat. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't need to do it again. But especially with boats, because you're bouncing, you know, if there's like a wake, it is fun to go very fast on a boat if it's very still.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the whole endeavor is kind of fun, but I'm also just like, I feel the way that I felt when I was in a helicopter, where it's like, all right, let's not tempt fate here.
Right.
We've all had enough fun for the day, right? Let's pack it in, boys.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. Like, I feel like there wouldn't be so many horrific drunken boating accidents if it wasn't also that, like, seeming a lot of people are like, well, I've been drinking, so I better drive as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Like, if people drank on boats and it was like, yeah, it's messed up, but at least like boats can only go 5 miles per hour tops. That would be one thing.
Like a pontoon boat.
Yeah, like you might hit somebody and you'll both bounce back and fall into the water.
Bumper boats. Yeah. All boats should be bumper boats.
I was looking up. Do you know about this? Because there's like a big boating lake, this Lake Lanier in Georgia.
No, the state or the country?
The state.
Okay.
The supposedly haunted lake.
Of course. Save it for your other podcast.
Well, this lake, Tim, is famous because it was made in 1956 by the Army Corps of Engineers. Mm-hmm. But they moved.
So it's a handout. It's a government handout.
Basically, they moved more than 1,000 people. 20 cemeteries, 15 businesses, 6 churches.
20 cemeteries?
20 cemeteries.
And only 1,000 people?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think they were very small cemeteries.
District?
The town of Oscarville, which was a predominantly black town.
Oh.
So basically in the 50s, the government came in and was like, oh, this seems like a really nice town you built here. Unfortunately,
get out. We're gonna.
Unfortunately for you, yeah, we don't care. So right. Yeah, we're just gonna clear you out, and then we're gonna like redirect. I guess I don't know exactly what the source is, but we're gonna redirect it. It was like not only to make that lake, it was also to make a dam to like make a drinking water supply. And I don't know if the dam's like hydroelectric, but they flooded, they flooded a town, but they also dug a bunch of shit up. And there's also like, of course, the government was like, we moved all the cemeteries. Don't worry. Divers have gone down. They've been like, nope, all the cemeteries are still there. But between 1994 and 2022, more than 200 people have died in this lake.
Yikes. Is it haunted or is it just, is there a monster in there?
Well, some people say both, Tim. Many people believe that more than 700 people have died since it was constructed in the 50s. And because of this, they think it's cursed and haunted. But the big reasons, it's like anything. It's a huge...
Don't build anything on a burial ground.
Yeah, it's a huge lake. 7 to 11 million visitors per year. Largest lake in Georgia. And apparently the lake is very dark and murky, probably because they just flooded a town. And it just sounds like a combination of a lot of things, of like it being a big party lake, the water's murky, people don't wear life vests. There are tons of BUI accidents.
Yeah.
So it's not all drownings that happen there. But yeah, just want to point that out. Big lake. A lot of people have died. Be careful if you go to that lake.
When you're driving a boat, you also have to watch out for canoes.
When you're driving a canoe, you have to look out for boats.
That's true.
Yeah. Do you have any final...
pedestrian should watch out for me while I'm in my SUV. Is that you?
No, I don't even... I don't even have an SUV. Tim, do you have any final boating thoughts before we solve a problem?
Tom, I think we should buy a boat together. Hello and welcome to Tim and Tom Solve Your Problems. I'm Tim.
I'm Tom.
And we're going to solve a problem. Before we solve a problem, I have something to say, Tom.
If you have a problem, you can email us at thecompleteguidetoeverything@gmail.com.
Well, don't stifle a burp while you're saying the email address.
Well, I couldn't remember what the email address was.
Oh, thecompleteguidetoeverything@gmail.com. This one comes from Ray, and we can use...
Was that what you were going to say? Did I cut you off?
Yeah, no, that was
I thought you were going to say something else. That's why I got that in there. I apologize.
I was going to make an announcement that people should email us, thecompleteguidetoeverything@gmail.com with their
problems. You don't have to. I already did.
Dear Tim and Tom, feel free to use my name in case it somehow helps with this problem. His name is Ray.
Okay.
At 34 years old, I find myself with the sudden urge to add another tattoo to my aging body. 34. Ray, shut up.
Like, oh boy, I'd kill for the supple skin of a 34-year-old.
I got my 2 existing, somewhat large tattoos in the first 2 weeks of my being 18 years old.
Wow.
This guy was going ham.
So, I mean, yeah, in that way, 34 is...
Yeah.
Big difference.
They're both on the upper half of my body, so I'm looking at a leg in order to help balance me out and be less top heavy. That's pretty funny. However, my personality has changed somewhat since then, and these days I'm more into the look of several small, minimalist tattoos next to each other. My problem is, do I follow this urge and get one or possibly several small tattoos on my lower body, even though they would have a decidedly more silly feel to them? How can I embrace the duality of having 2 very different tattoo philosophies on one body? 2 philosophies.
Well, I mean, this is the problem when you get 2 massive Tasmanian devil tattoos on your upper body when you're 18.
Thanks. I've been listening for over 10 years and I'm thrilled to finally have a problem I can share with you. Keep doing what you're doing forever. Ray, unfortunately, we're aging very rapidly.
Must be nice to have the biggest problem in your life is that you don't have a problem to send to your two pals, Tim and Tom.
Yeah.
Boy, I wish I
Two shitheads who are bad at doing things. Tom, I reject the notion of a unified tattoo philosophy across one's body.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say we're probably the two last people to ask because neither of us have tattoos.
If you had to get a tattoo, gun to your head right now. Sorry for the violent imagery.
Well, that's what I would get a tattoo of.
Me holding a gun to your head?
Yeah, to commemorate the moment.
No, what tattoo would you get?
A gun to my head? Is there like a minimum size or
no? Do what you want. Don't be like a little dot on my.
No. I mean, I guess I couldn't think of like a thing to get.
The Foo Fighters logo on the back of your neck,
just like Dave Grohl, maybe. Man, not to tease our new Foo Fighters podcast, but that somewhat recently, maybe on our Patreon show, I was talking about that Foo Fighters show I went to at the Black Cat, which was like a legendary show. And I remember there be a dude outside who got the Foo Fighters FF, the same size that Dave Grohl had on the back of his neck, tattooed like right on his sternum. And he showed Dave Grohl, and Dave Grohl's immediate reaction was, "Oh, why'd you do that?" Which is like not the reaction you want
from your hero.
Your hero who you're getting like a tattoo.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like that's the reaction I would have. I'd be like, "Oh, that's on you forever."
A Complete Guide to Everything logo tattooed on their sternum, you'd be like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that." I would be like, cool.
I think in the moment I would be so shocked that I would be like, can you get that undone? Like a mistake has been made. You made a mistake in wanting this. But I think if I were a rock and roller, maybe I'd be a little more used to it.
Yeah. Do we have tattoo friends? We have a couple tattoo friends.
Yeah, we have friends who have tattoos.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it's tough because Ray here hasn't gone into too much detail of what the large tattoos are.
Yeah.
So like it is, I mean, here's the thing. I think he may have to take a step back and think to himself, are these two large tattoos I got when I was 18 embarrassing? and they'll be embarrassing regardless of what other tattoos I have.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of missing context here. Like, what are the small, minimalist, whimsical tattoos that he wants?
I mean, I'm imagining he's got like probably like big colorful tattoos, and maybe now he's thinking about just black, very minimalist.
I think if it's confined to above the belt and below the belt, two entirely different canvases.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think of my legs and my arms being a part of the same body at all.
I'll also say this. I've never seen a person in real life who I've thought those tattoos don't go together.
Right.
I think
eclecticism. What is that what eclectic? Is that what Frasier claims his Frasier Crane on Frasier claims his design style is?
Tim, why are you asking me like I've been sitting next to you watching Frasier at night when he makes like little jokes?
I mean, it was a major theme in the beginning because Martin Crane.
Because he had the old chair.
Right.
Maybe. Oh God. Now he's looking up on white label Bing. Some Frasier.
It's eclectic. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's in the Frasier subreddit, which I subscribe to.
Well, I'll also say this. Here's my final tattoo thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
If all your tattoos like match the same aesthetic, I think you're not necessarily, but you're in danger of looking like a poser. You know?
What?
No, I think you're in danger
I think it's a well thought out.
I think you're in danger of looking like somebody who woke up one day and was like, I want to be all tatted up like now. So I'm going to design all these tats and just get to work. Whereas I think most I'm thinking of like people we know that have a lot of tattoos. They all have like stupid tattoos from when they were younger. And it's like, that's just kind of seems to me like the idea of tattoos that you're like marking the passage of time in a way.
Wow. It all comes back to that, huh?
And that it wouldn't be the craziest thing to be like, yeah, I have these tattoos from when I was this old and these from when I was this old.
Yeah. If it's an urge, he says, do I follow this urge and get one or possibly several small tattoos?
Yeah.
You know what? Your tattoos should meet you where you are right now.
Yeah. Especially if they're small. Yeah, nobody, like if somebody's got a bunch of big tattoos and then they have a couple of small ones, nobody's paying attention to the small ones. And also, like, if I don't know where it is on his upper body, like it also sounds like maybe all these tattoos will be in places where they're not frequently seen. Like you're talking about your upper and lower body tattoos, which like, I don't know, unless they show with like shorts and a t-shirt, then you're talking about being naked or like at a pool or the beach before somebody would even see all these.
Yeah. Also, you know what? Like, I've never cared about anybody's tattoo. Like, as long as it's not like Nazi imagery, do whatever you want. Nobody's going to really care all that much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine. Should we get tattoos? Should we get tattoos of our new boat to commemorate afterwards?
When the pandemic hit, Tom.
You were going to get a COVID-19?
No. I had plans to get a group tattoo.
A Groupon tattoo. So it was a reduced price.
No, 3 people were going to all get tattoos together.
Wow.
And then COVID...
so COVID it wasn't a COVID plan. COVID threw the wrench.
It was like we're going next week to this tattoo COVID place, happened. And then the tattoo place had to shutter thanks to Joe Brandon.
Well, I didn't know that.
That's the way I remember it. That's the way that apparently most of America remembers it at this point, according to the polls. So that's what happened. So that's why I don't have a tattoo, Tom.
Wow. Well,
if you have an email you want to send to us, the complete guide to everything at gmail.com.
It could be a problem. Forward.
It could be anything you want.
Chain letter.
Yeah. Thanks for the.
Yes, thank you, Ray, and good luck with your tattoos.
Yeah, let us know how it goes.
Yeah. You can also follow us on social media at Complete Guide on most places. You can check out tcgte.com. It's got links to all the social medias. You can follow me on social media at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your Bellin.
And check out our Patreon, patreon.com/complete guide. Where this week, what are we doing this week? How would you describe
our side of the mountain?
I read my side of the mountain. We did a couple episodes about that, a few episodes. Then we did an episode where we watched some survival videos. Mm-hmm. And now this week, it's Ask Us About Our Side of the Mountain. Ask us
survival questions, outdoorsy questions, camping questions. We got a few good ones on deck. Mm-hmm. Excited to talk about the outdoors. What is Siri saying to me?
I said, here are some selections. I think I was holding one of the buttons.
You're a real fidgeter, Tom.
I am a real fidgeter. I press all the buttons. That's why I'm surprised when I was in charge of that boat, I didn't press more buttons and flip more switches.
Patreon.com/complete guide. Books the podcast, and more. And Tom, this Foo Fighters podcast is gonna launch.
Yeah, we're figuring it out still, but there is forward momentum on it. Yeah. I didn't mention it out of nowhere.
I've done some guest booking, Tom.
Yeah. You talked to one person.
Nope. I've talked to
2 people.
Several people.
All right. Wow. I bet it's going to be some shocking names.
It might be.
All right. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
That was a HeadGum podcast.